Hi friends, you are welcome in this tutorial. Friends, in this lesson we are going to discuss about Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who is very popularly known as Babasaheb Ambedkar, and his essay, The Prospects of Democracy in India. So friends, let's start the tutorial with some background of Dr. Ambedkar. Dr. Ambedkar has a very extensive and prolific profile in the field of education and his social work. So friends, he is not only a Dalit leader, but he worked for every Indian, and we are going to discuss about his background. How did he work for all Indians? So friends, very first, let me tell you that Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar is one of the most outstanding and prolific personalities, intellectuals in the world. He shaped the very modern Indian intellect, and he is very aptly called as the architect of Indian Constitution, whose contribution is great in the making of the Indian Constitution, and hence he becomes the architect of modern India. And friends, he composed many books. If we look at his very books, we understand how his works is so extensive and how he touches upon all the fields of life through his works. So friends, as a student, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar was a very bright student in his studies. He could study in the very renowned institutions of the world. For example, he studied in the London School of Economics and Political Science. He also studied in Columbia University, and there he completed a very vast syllabus of a degree in a limited period of time. So this was a great achievement, and hence he is hailed as one of the brightest students in the world. So friends, as far his composition of books is concerned, there are very significant books. Actually all his books are significant, but I have listed here a few books, and you can find his other books on internet. There is a extensive list. So let me read out his some of the very famous books which I have listed here. The very first book, Annihilation of Caste, which is written in 1936, The Buddha and His Dharma, 1957, Who Were the Shudras, a very fundamental book in the field of the very history of India and its people, which is written in 1946. Then we have a very great work in economics, that is The Problem of Rupee, Its Origin and Its Solution, written in published in 1923. Then Castes in India, Their Mechanism, Genesis and Development, a very fundamental book again. 1916, Buddha or Karl Marx. It is a very philosophical treatise of Dr. Ambedkar. And again we have The Untouchables, 1900. So friends, here our point of discussion is his essay, The Prospects of Democracy in India. Now what is the prospects of democracy in India according to Dr. Ambedkar? So why we are discussing about this essay? It is because Dr. Ambedkar is the very authoritative personality who can speak on democracy and its principles, because he studied democracies of many countries. He studied the constitutions and he shaped or composed the very Indian constitution, and so that he becomes an authoritative figure to speak on this democracy and its principles. So friends, let's start the actual essay. What is there in the essay? He begins this essay with the very basic question: is there democracy in India, or is there no democracy in India? Before this question, he puts a few arguments that whenever we listen to the word republic or parliament or the government, we consider that there is inherent democracy, but is it true? Is it true in case of India? And answer of this question is negative, as he given in this essay. So friends, the democracy did not comprise only republic, having a people's government, and the parliamentary system. So these are the backbones, we can say that, but it is not the only. These are the means and instruments of democracy. Then what is the real democracy? So he says that, and he has expanded the very definition of democracy or the very area of democracy. So let me read out his own words. What did he say about the Indian democracy and what is mean by democracy in his eyes. So let me read out those words. He says that the roots of democracy lie not in the form of government, parliamentary or otherwise. A democracy is more than a form of government. It is primarily a mode of associated living. The roots of democracy are to be searched in the social relationship in terms of associated life between the people who form a society. Now friends, we have a very extensive kind of definition here. He expanded the scope of democracy. He says that democracy is not only limited to the republic, the parliamentary system or the people's governments. It is all about associated living. It is all about the living in society. It is all about the relationship of society and the relationship of individuals in a particular society. Now, what is associated living? Associated living means that people live in a single society or people live in a harmony in a society. And what is mean by society? He has given the very meaning of society. The word society connotes for him in different manners. So again he states that a society comprises of different types of values, different types of qualities. And what are those qualities according to Dr. Ambedkar? Let me read out those qualities, or what is society for him. So I quote, society is community of purpose and desire for welfare, loyalty to public ends and mutuality of sympathy and cooperation. So society includes all these elements or all these qualities. Now the answer is negative, or that is no, we don't find these qualities: mutual cooperation, mutual understanding, harmony, and the very sober relationships with each other in the society or one another in the society. So these qualities or these elements are not inherent in Indian society. So can we say that then we have a democracy? That is a very big question in the eyes of Dr. Ambedkar. And further he explains this question in the next essay. So if our society does not comprise of all these quality, then what is there in the society? So how Indian society is comprised? And he puts a very basic and fundamental argument before us or before the Indian society, that Indian society is not comprised of only individuals, or it is not the collection of individuals, but it is a bunch of castes, different types of castes, and hence it becomes a very difficult to understand Indian society and to understand Indian democracy. So due to its different types of castes. And again he says that, let me quote his own words, the existence of caste system is a standing denial of the existence of those ideals of society and therefore of democracy. Now it is very clear in the eyes of Dr. Ambedkar, or if we go through this essay, we also understand that the denial of the very existence of those ideals which we have discussed right now, the very ideals of society, the very principles of society, the denying them is to deny the very democracy. And the real meaning of democracy is that we must find mutual cooperation, inherent relationship, or there should be a very helping cooperative society or individuals, so as to expand the very democracy or spread the democracy on, and that is the real meaning of democracy. Again we have caste system in Indian society, and this caste system has become a hindrance in the very democracy. So how we can remove this caste system? He again talks in this essay further. So caste is inherent in Indian society. This is one thing. Again, it is existed in every field. So how caste has occupied all the fields of human life in India is given in this essay. He talks about, if you go to politics, you find caste there inherent. If you go to industry, we have caste. If you go to commerce, there is caste. Again, if you go to education, there we find caste. Again, you have social relations and the very caste. Now this caste has occupied all the sectors, all the fields, and so that we have a very stunting effect on our democracy of this caste system. And this is the very feature of Indian society. Now, what are the features of caste? Now, he has explained what is caste. So, he has actually composed many books on caste, but in this essay, he also explains the very existence of caste and the features of caste. The very first feature of caste is it is graded inequality. Now, the meaning of graded inequality is that caste is not parallel phenomenon, or it is not a parallel thing. So, caste has layers. So, there is lower caste, again lower caste, upper caste. Now, it is not parallel, and so that it becomes the graded inequality. So, this is the very first feature of caste. The second feature we have, caste is complete isolation. If you think about class, or if you compare class and caste, you find the very difference. That class cannot be isolated. There may be some similar things in the class, but caste is completely isolated phenomenon. If you are belonging to say particular caste, then the other person does not belong to it. So friends, first we must think about these three features of caste to blow the caste. So the very first feature, as we talked about, graded inequality. So first we have to think about this graded inequality, and we must convert this graded inequality into graded equality. How we can do mutual job, how we can do mutual occupation based on the other caste. So this is what we must think, and caste must run parallel. So we should not consider that this caste is lower or this caste is upper. So until we remove this graded inequality, we cannot remove the caste. The second feature, as we talked about, it is the very isolation. So we must first break this isolation, and we must forward our relationship in the other caste. So this is one way how this stratification has broken down the very backbone of our democracy. And let me read out his own words here. We have his words: stratification is stunting of the growth of the individual, and deliberate stunting is a deliberate denial of democracy. Now he talks about a very great principle here in this statement. Now if you are uphailing the stratification of caste, then you are denying the very democracy, and this stratification is a hurdle in the development of individual, and hence if you are doing these things consciously, then you are consciously denying the democracy, and this becomes the hurdle in again democracy. So this is the very great thing he talked about in this essay. So he cites Plato here. The organization of society depends ultimately upon knowledge of the end of existence. If you do not know its end, if you do not know its good, we shall be at the mercy of accident and caprice. So every society, every individual has some kind of end, some kind of aim, some kind of goal. If you do not have, if our Indian society do not have this kind of end or this kind of goal, then how we are going to develop ourselves, how we are going to preserve our democracy is the big question. For example, we can say that a person is ready to go at some destination, and just he doesn't know what is his destination, then how he is going to travel on that path is the very simple thing. And this simple dictum here he gives in this essay. So we must think in this regard when we are talking about the prospects of democracy in India. So this is the very fine thought he gives here. Again, in the next part of his essay, or the very ending part of his essay, he talks about how we can remove this caste system. So he has given some options, or he has given some means to remove the caste, and he asks a very basic question, and this question is very significant in today's scenario because it is applicable today. What is that question? Let me read out that question. The very question is, can education destroy caste? And the answer he gives, it is a very conscious answer and very thought-provoking answer. He answers to this question yes as well as no. Now, what lies there in yes and no? If you think about the very education system today, we will get a picture that how our education system has become very lame. So this has been seen before many years by Dr. Ambedkar, and he has a vision regarding India, and he talks about the education system. Our education system is failed today. Why? Because there are so many reasons, and so that it is not able to remove the caste system from our society. So he talks about here the education should be given to a particular strata, a particular group of society. If you are educating to those who are in the upper class or who are in the upper castes, and they are maintaining this caste system further, then what is the use of that education? Examples of the Brahmin community, how Brahmin community is educated, or almost Brahmin community is educated, but they are not very intended to remove the caste system, or they are not working to remove the caste system. Instead, they are taking the benefit of their upper caste. Instead, they are taking the benefits of education and the hierarchy of the caste system. So we should address those community which are ready to blow up the caste system, and this education should be given to the backward community, or the very Dalit community, according to Dr. Ambedkar, and he states very clearly in his essay. Again, in the end of this essay, or at the very last of this essay, he talks about what will be the consequences of wrong education, or giving education to wrong people, and he has given the very answer to this question. So I quote, "To give education to those who want to keep up the caste system is not to improve the prospect of democracy in India, but to put our democracy in India in greater jeopardy." And about this danger, Dr. Ambedkar talked before many years. And so friends, we must think about this essay, and this is the very core of essay which we talked here. And friends, if we think about the very democracy, and if we care about our democracy, we must go on the path shown by Dr. Ambedkar. Or first we must think about the caste system, and until we are not thinking about this caste system, and we are not going on the path which Dr. Ambedkar has shown, we are not getting success in spreading the democracy and practicing the very democracy which we are practicing today. So friends, thank you very much for watching the complete lesson. If you have anything to share with me, or if you have difficulty in understanding this essay, or if you have any query, you can comment me, so I will try to answer your comments. Please like this video, share this video among your friends, and subscribe to Literature Simply, and also press the bell notification icon for the updates.